So a friend of mine had suggested the idea of doing a commentary over this to help explain this a little bit further. So I actually thought it would be a great idea. So what I'm doing right now is called a pyramid set. I really use like anywhere from a 20 to 40 second rest period in between sets. Really the time it takes just to reload the new weights. And I really don't show that because I was trying to cut and make the video a little bit shorter. That's why whatever you think you could do on a really high rep or even a heavy weight, you're probably not going to be able to do with this pyramid set. Because it's so quick, back to back to back, it really doesn't give your muscles a chance to recover, which for me helps build my contraction to be even a tighter peak and even stronger contraction. So your pump gets insane as soon as you get up to your top weight. Now, even though you see me going through all these different weights, I've made my pyramid scale according to whatever my max bench is. And then I break it down to about 50% of my max, and then I build up to 80% of my max. And that's usually where I'm stopping at 2 reps on my max, which for me was this next clip right here, hitting 275. So that's kind of like the stuff in the details I really don't get to put in the text because I'm limited with using iMovie. For those who use it know like there's some limitations to it, or maybe I just haven't got familiar enough with it. So as I'm doing this pyramid set, when I stick to the low reps, like reps that I can do 15, 20 times, I just hit 12, go right into my next set. Now the cool thing about using this incline hammer style is you don't have to worry about tearing your shoulder. So I started with 45 on each, and I hit like 15 reps. So then I threw on the second 45, and I was able to hit right around 12. And then that's when I threw on the 25, and that's when I really started breaking down into failure, when I started hitting that 6 rep, 7 rep stage. Now people go, well, what do you mean by hitting failure? Like I feel that I get the most muscle growth when I push to failure. Now it literally, that machine, you can't tell, but it's about 30 feet to the right of me. So really the time it took me to walk from that machine right over there, grab my weights and go right up was the time it took. So you're talking like 45, 50 seconds. Now when you go straight from doing the incline press to doing these incline flies, your chest should already be blown up. So this is nothing more than a really good stretch to really tear down those muscle fibers. And when I superset it like this, all I'm using my rest time is the time it takes me to place down those dumbbells and grab the next one. Now what I didn't show is I actually went up to a third set to 60-pound dumbbells, which I was able to do 5 times, and I felt, you know what, that's kind of dangerous for even myself. So in the video, I actually called it a superset. I actually did 2 of these, so a total of 4 sets for my incline flies. Your chest at this point should pretty much be annihilated, but I do it because I like to push things past my breaking point. This is what helps me develop my strength. The contraction is what's going to help me build up my size. I'm a big fan of hypertrophy training. So if you haven't got into hypertrophy training, you might want to look it up. It really is allowing and adding more time under tension. With a cable fly like this, the reason why you may notice that I'm doing it into like more of my lower pec area is because I do focus a lot of emphasis on my incline. I'm one who feels like you can never build your incline up too much. So this is something I do to really help building that definition on the outer pecs and help build that crease right down the center. And if you can actually, I didn't show it very well because I'm kind of going through a lot of reps, but you'll notice in my 3rd set, I really focus on the contraction and the squeeze. I'm trying to keep the squeeze throughout the whole fly, but the fatigue is setting in so early that's why I notice sometimes that my shoulders kind of cave in because I'm really struggling to get the squeeze at the bottom. And now when you're getting into your 2nd drop set right here, my first set is something that I can do about 15 times. And as I start dropping the weight 1 set at a time, you should be fatiguing. So by the time you get done with this, you're right around, 7, 8, 9 reps. But it's hard for me to do a video and know what everyone's rep range is, or even know what everyone's max weight is. So that's what's hard to put all this text in below. So like I said, my first set is right around 15. So you need to be a little bit more familiar with what kind of weight you can do with your cable flies to be able to help you transition from exercise to exercise. Now with something like this, at this point in time, it's just about getting the motion. It's trying not to cheat. It's trying to get that tight squeeze at the end. And really, I mean, I'm not a very thin guy yet. I'm probably right around 22% body fat, but you know, if you were in leaner, you're definitely going to see a lot more vascularity by now. Now, one of the things, if you ever look at Franco Columbu, is he was a huge advocate of using body weight dips, even weighted dips, if you can get, you know, if you're that strong. But for me, as a finisher, these are the kind of exercises that help polish up my triceps and really help polish up my pecs. I noticed a couple of my friends were like, oh, you know, dips are just for like trying to get definition. I'm like, no. If you look at Franco Columbu, who is one of the strongest bodybuilders of all time, he'll lay down that dips were his favorite exercise. Not only are they, your body weight can add resistance, but if you use them towards the later part of your workout, you'll notice you'll fatigue a lot earlier. And the pump that you get from doing dips, for me, is super intense. Sometimes even more intense than doing like bench press. Now, the reason why I go to these close grip push-ups, it isn't to just get away from the weight, but a lot of my, like, I'm 35, so my rotator can take a beating, but once I start doing this much exercise, I wanted to take the weight off and just use my body weight. Doing stuff like push-ups, even close grip push-ups, is really going to isolate the inner pecs, and it's also going to help you put a little bit more pressure on your triceps. We can all use stronger triceps. Now, this is something that I actually saw from somebody that was demonstrating cardio acceleration, one of Jim Stepani's favorite go-tos instead of using cardio. And when I started using these explosive movements, it just drains. So I hope you guys enjoy this.